flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Clark.
Here.
Mr. Redmond.
Here.
Mrs. Ryan.
Present.
Mrs. Wells.
Here.
Here.
Mayor, on the consent agenda, R-15-2000 is going to be pulled. We're still waiting.
200, correct?
200, yes, sir. Still waiting for information from the plaintiff's attorney.
Okay, so they're aware, and obviously it's not going to be shut down. Okay. Anybody else at the table have anything you want to take off the consent agenda? Okay. With 200 removed, I'll offer it.
Offered by Mayor Nolan.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Redmond. Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Mrs. Wells.
Yes.
Mayor Nolan.
Yes, but I also, we should do it again, that wasn't here on the 16th, so the minutes are on there. I will offer,
You could just indicate that you abstain.
I abstain on that.
And I abstain on the project as well. Not present.
Okay, on to other resolutions. R-15-199, resolution appointing a gaming board member.
And this will be an alternate, correct? Because the alternates usually move up the way we did it. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and Linda Ziemba would move up to a full regular member. And I'll offer as the alternate Larry Colby.
I'll second that.
Offered by Mayor Nolan. Second by
Mr. Clark.
Clark. Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Ms. Wells.
Yes.
Mayor Nolan.
Yes. Oh yeah, we also have an instance where I believe that there's a conflict with another member that hasn't been at a lot of meetings. Could we send them an email then? Just say, if you want to keep serving, we appreciate it, still interested, the next meeting is this date, this amount, let us know, and then I guess the next council meeting will address that. And if you get word back, just let all the council members know so we're prepared to put somebody up.
Resolution 15-209, resolution appointing full-time code enforcement officer.
Anybody have an offer for that? You're offering Dave McCullough?
Yes, I'll offer that.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Redmond offered Dave McCullough for R 15-209.
And second by
I'll second it.
Mrs. Wells. Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Mrs. Wells.
Yes.
Mayor Nolan.
Yes.
Next is R 15-210, resolution appointing full-time laborer.
Anybody have an offer?
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like, is this the labor position?
Yes.
Please, sir.
Just interject, Mayor, we did conduct the interviews, we had over 60 applicants for the position. We did the interviews and conducted them. I'm recommending that Mr. Joseph Walling, who has been in the capacity as a seasonal employee since I believe late June, be appointed to this position. It is provisional based upon any potential civil service regulations that we might need to meet. That's the recommendation.
Bruce, are there any issues with that, with legality of civil service and things like that?
No, we made it a provisional appointment.
Okay.
So we should be okay.
Anybody have any comments? Any comments from the table? Questions, suggestions?
I believe he's in the back also.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm very pleased that we are having another laborer.
Yes.
We really need somebody. So, good.
Anybody like to offer that? Or we will?
Offered by Mrs. Wells.
And I'll second that.
Second by Mrs. Ryan. Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Mrs. Wells.
Yes.
Mayor Nolan.
Yes.
Next is resolution R 15-11, resolution authorizing professional engineering services. And administrator.
Mr. Grant Administrator?
Mayor, I can speak to this.
Please.
This is something we discussed last meeting. Basically, since Sandy, there's been a number of grants that have come up, and we've been using well, I'll call it a Sandy number for lack of a better term. So basically, speaking to the purchasing agent, Mr. Hill, we're going to close that number and separate these out. One area is going to go towards the EDA grant for the grant administration purposes for the streetscape, and the other one is just normal grant assistance we provided your grant administrators with over time. This is all money that's been spent already. Because it's a way to separate them out the EDA gets reimbursed under the contract, under the grant itself. The other does not, but to separate that money out, I think they get paid accordingly, but the money's already been spent.
Okay?
Right,
Anybody?
yeah, this is basically following up the last
Okay,
one.
anybody want to offer?
I'll offer it.
Offered by Mr. Wells,
I'll second it.
seconded by Mr. Redmond, Mr. Clark. Mr. Redmond.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Wells.
Yes.
And no.
Yes.
On to other business, wonderful fitness.
Excuse me, Debbie, I'm so sorry, but I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mindful Fitness event presentation by Rick Horn.
Rick, I see you already. Want to step up?
Sure. As you know, we did the Mindful Fitness Festival. I want to go back a year if I can. I presented to council and to people in the audience a plan that we have for Highlands Health and Fitness. And in that plan, we've been talking with investment firms, we brought them to town. We've been talking with hospital groups that we work with, University of Rochester Medical Center, Robert Wood Johnson, and Stanford University. And the idea is to help redevelop parts of Bay Avenue into kind of a health and wellness village, focused on a hotel and focused, connected to a wellness center that is focusing on neurodegenerative diseases for a variety of different populations. Veterans is a big part of that. We've been working with the VA. Plan is to bring those organizations into town and to build the hotel and build the wellness center. So the Mindful Fitness Festival, as I indicated in that report that I provided a year or so ago, we wanted to do some health-related events in town for a number of reasons. Number one, to kind of showcase the town to investors, and as well as kind of give the town to be known for something other than just being a regular shore town, looking at other shore towns and bring people into town that wouldn't normally come to Highlands, but would spend money in our restaurants and bars and so on and so forth. So the idea behind the festival is that the group of investors and myself, we've been working with veteran groups, we've been working with the VA. We just recently started working with the VA in New Jersey, but we've been working with the VA in Washington, D.C., in California, Texas, and Florida, which are the biggest states with veteran populations. And we've been very successful at helping veterans with mindfulness practices, particularly helpful for veterans with PTSD and dementia, depression, and other neurological and psychological disorders. So the idea behind the Mindful Fitness Festival was to raise money for the New Jersey program. We, in fact, tomorrow I leave for North Carolina. We're doing a similar festival at Fort Bragg. We just did one down in Texas a couple of weeks ago. So I wanted to kick it off here in Highlands and kind of showcase the town to the investors and to the hotel groups. Unfortunately, there was good and bad. The good was parts of the festival were great. I don't know if you were here on that Sunday and saw the bubble race that we had, which was a lot of fun. We had a lot of veterans families that came and really had a good time. I thought that was quite wonderful, and those kinds of events could be done in the town going forward. The other thing that was really successful was we bussed in some kids from inner cities who, some of which lost family members in the wars. Young kids, we taught them yoga and meditation down on the town, the rec beach, and that was great. And we played a little lacrosse with them on the basketball courts there. And that was really wonderful. A couple of those kids had never been on a beach before, so that made it very successful for us. The concert did not perform well. I mean, the performance was good, but did not perform well. And that was very disappointing. I think there's a number of different factors. One is obviously the weather. I mean, there was tornadoes in certain parts of the state, and it was pretty bad weather leading up to the concert. It did rain during the concert, but it rained all the way up to the concert, so that kept some people away. And the other was just from a marketing standpoint. There were, for whatever reason, a couple of people from town that contacted Southside Johnny's manager about 3 weeks before the event and told them that the concert was canceled. This was about a week before we met with the council, and the resolution was passed unanimously to do the event. But that really hurt us from a marketing standpoint. We were already kind of behind the 8 ball because we wanted to pass this resolution a couple of months earlier, but because of Frank's illness and vacations and so forth, the council meeting got passed. That left us a couple of weeks to market this event, and that's very, very difficult to do. Although we felt that, given the other events we've done in town, where we raise money for the community, with Southside and other artists, that we at least get a couple of thousand people that would come to the event. And we basically had a couple hundred people that came to the event, which was a shame, because we were hoping to raise enough money to put at least 20 to 30 New Jersey veterans through our wellness program at the University of Rochester. Thankfully, we have some great donors who covered the cost of the event, and whatever the event would have made would have been gravy, and we could have really helped a lot of people. And thankfully, we were able to, separate from this event, raise money, and were able to send those veterans through the program, some of which go into the program first week in November. So, but that's in the past. What we're focused on right now is we think that Highlands is a great location to build this wellness village. We have some amazing companies. We have the financing for it. I think it's important for the town. When you look at the high taxes in the town, restaurants are not going to get into the promised land. So we need anchors in this town. If you look at towns like Rumson, it has a lower tax rate than Fairhaven because Rumson has the country club that covers a big chunk of that. We don't have that here in our town. So we think this is a great way to do it. We have extremely interested parties that will be meeting in the next couple of weeks with the committee that was set up by the planning board, and we look forward to that meeting. We're trying to make Highlands an inviting place for organizations outside of Highlands to come in and spend money in the town and help rebuild the town. And so we're looking at the model that Asbury Park did, not their actual model, but what they did to bring money into town and bring developers into town and eventually businesses, and they brought great minds from around the state, from around the country, and great architects, engineers, developers, and got all that information. That's what we aim to do. So that's my 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Borough Engineer Status Report.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me just run through what's going on. The overall stormwater project, still under permit review. Once we get those permits back, we're hoping very quickly we'll be able to get the approval process through EIT and go to construction with that this winter. The replacement of the North Street stormwater pump station. That's also under permit process. Permits are under review. The Army Corps permits take a long time to get back, so we're anticipating construction starting in the spring. The Waterwitch Avenue, Linden Avenue Drainage Project, otherwise known as the DBIS pipe. We have advertised this project twice for bids. They've been rejected twice because they're just too high. For numerous reasons we're hearing from the contractors. A lot of it has to do with the lateness in the year. A lot of these guys have work that carries them through the season already, and they already have target dates to lay off their crews for the winter, put their equipment under maintenance, so on and so forth. But I do want to work with the council to try to maybe come up with a way we could get this project implemented. We do advertise it a third time. We are allowed by law to negotiate with the low bidders to try to get a better price. Not sure how far that's going to drop us, but we'll it's certainly worth a shot. So further discussion is coming on how we could get this project implemented. The community center walkway. Again, we solicited quotes on that twice. The first time one came back at $54,000, which was way too high. Second time nobody went after it. So the contractor for Shore Drive is currently pricing it out as an option to complete it under his contract. There, the streetscape project, as you know, that's underway. I know there's a couple of hiccups along the way to start off. I believe the project overall is going well. The work has been predominantly on the north side of Bay Avenue. With the conduit work, there was some sidewalks that were cut out for conduit. I know there was concerns in the beginning that was all they were doing as far as sidewalk limits. That's not the case. It's just there's another sub that comes in behind them and does the full sidewalk. And that's the stamped concrete. That's the imprint, the colors, the antiquing, if you will. That is scheduled to start tentatively on the 28th, a week from today. So right now, the first crew is up by Waterwitch area. They're going to kind of go on standby mode there for now, while the other crew catches up, and then we'll see where the weather takes us. We could, I don't want to open up more sidewalk and then not have the weather cooperate with us to do the stamp to have it open for the winter. So we're, right now we're just kind of, the first crew's in a holding pattern while the second crew catches up, so to speak. And then the amenities, the lights, the tree grates, benches, all that's been ordered, and that'll be coming in directly too. Again, if there's anybody that's in the project area that's got any concerns, see me tonight if you want, or you can certainly reach out to me, reach out to Mr. Hill, he'll get in touch with me. And you can definitely talk to one of my inspectors that are on site too as well. They'll get a hold of me and we'll get any concerns resolved you may have. The Shore Drive Phase 2 contract, that contract was awarded a while back. We were in a holding pattern waiting for the Pulte Homes project at the end of Shore Drive to complete their soil movement. Obviously, we don't want to pave the road and have 30, 40 trucks a day running over a fresh pavement. It's my understanding that their import of soil is now pretty much completed. The only thing that's really holding us up now is New Jersey Natural Gas. They did that new gas main down Shore Drive that they're currently hooking services into. Once they're done with that, we'll be able to get that contract done and get Shore Drive repaved. So that would be a good thing.
Just one question on that. How long before Kylie gets finished the hookup?
We're told within a week. And then there was other discussions with them today about the gas line, the schedule for the gas line to get into the community center today.
But also that, so when the start would be of the resurfacing of?
We're going to have a pre-construction meeting with Fiore next Tuesday. I'll send an invite out on that.
Okay.
And then, he's chomping at the bit, so we can get going shortly after that.
One make sure. Okay.
No, absolutely.
Thank you.
Moving on to the Shrewsbury Avenue, North Street pipe replacement project. Again, that's suffering the same fate as the DBIS project. I know there was some concerns from the contractors. I looked at it about knowing they have to be watered to put the pipe in down North Street. But again, it's higher prices. It's way over the estimates, and it's the end of the year. So I think this project, and again, we'll discuss this further too. But I think this project can either be split into two, possibly. You have two different pots of money there. And we advertise late winter so these guys can hit the ground running in the spring. Hopefully we get better prices for them to kick off their construction season, so to speak. Tonight you rejected the original bids that we got. The reconstruction of Bay Street, we're actually meeting with the Shore Drive contractor tomorrow to finalize the scope and his fees. I put potential contractor in here because we don't have an agreement worked out with him yet. I don't have any fears that we're not going to be able to work something out with him. The guy's been very reasonable to work with in the past. He's done several projects in town in the past, and I think we'll have a good relationship again with him here. So that'll be the interim repair approach, with the berm on the one side and the leveling course to try to eliminate that low area and force the water down around the bend. So we'll be meeting with them tomorrow on that to go over it, and once he comes to town to do Shore Drive, he'll be attacking this at the same time, as long as we get the cost worked out, which I believe we will. Moving on to the repair and mitigation of the Betts Park Electric. If you remember, there was an issue, there was an easement that popped up just between the marina and the basketball courts. Basically, we found that that is an active easement. There's a 48-inch effluent pipe, which is treated sewer, that's already been through the stations and out, that runs underneath the basketball courts, underneath the Shrewsbury River, underneath Sandy Hook, and then out in the ocean. So obviously, we do not want to touch that pipe whatsoever. So we will relocate our box away from that, so that the design of that is moving to completion. All right, and then just a couple of the FEMA reimbursement things we've been working on. The community center, Mr. Tomano is handling that from the architect standpoint. I believe that project is going well. The demolition of private property debris removal, as everybody knows as, that last push for solicitation was effective. We do have 13 property owners that are in the pipeline. Before we had 3 to 4, we have 13 now. So basically, what's going on now, we have a 45-day window with FEMA to get things in, and that falls thereabouts Thanksgiving, I believe the day after of all days. Our intent is to have everything into NJOEM, which is our first step to get everything vetted out through them, and then on to FEMA well ahead of this deadline. So as long as people that have shown interest and have applied, as long as they get their paperwork in, again, if anybody's in the room that has spoken to Dana in my office, and she needs additional paperwork, the quicker we get that paperwork in, the quicker we get the package into OEM and get the project hopefully moving along. And then moving on, one last thing is as requested by the governing body, we did submit for the reconstruction of Valley Street from Shore Drive to 5th Street for the local aid application for 2016. So that was submitted, the deadline was yesterday, that was submitted ahead of time, and we'll see where things fall from there. And that's pretty much my report.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Naming of streets in the new development, /multiple.
Yeah, Mayor, I can at least speak on that. I know that the request came in, we'll take one at a time here. Pulte Homes had put in a request to name streets within their project area. And one of the street names that they had come up with was too similar to another street in town. So they resubmitted, they would like us to consider either Harborside Way or Viewpoint Drive. So if we decide to take formal action, we have to do it by probably some type of ordinance to enact that. Knowing that backs into the Sandy Hook Bay Marina request that came in as well. And their request was to consider having Willow Street renamed Harbor Way. So I think if we go with Harborside Way, I think that's going to be, not to say who came first, right? I think we're going to run into that same conflict. So if you would like, if we could discuss with Pulte Homes to see if Viewpoint Drive is acceptable to them, and there's no other conflicts in town, that we approach Viewpoint Drive with them separately.
Can I ask a question,
Yes.
please? Regarding Willow Street.
We didn't get there yet,
Okay,
but
all right.
that's the next,
Then I'll-
no, I don't want to cut you off, I think
All right.
that's the next, I
Okay.
believe, right?
No, Holly is involved.
No.
Oh, okay.
Holly deals with street vacation, it's a different.
Right.
Okay.
Willow's after that.
Is
Oh, okay,
that-
Willow's
that's the
there.
name?
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's-
All right, fine. Okay, thank you.
So, number 5, who's requesting to change the name, the developer?
Number,
Number 5, yes, that's Bowler.
yeah, that was the letter that Mr. Bowman
I
had
thought we
sent.
already said we weren't.
I thought so too,
thought we
and I'm
discussed
concerned
this
about the residents
No,
who
no.
live there.
Do it out, it's confusing.
Well, no, I just want to follow up with the direction that was given and taken. I was asked to send out a letter to the residents of that area explaining, and it's in your packet.
What was their feedback? in general?
Right now, none.
Okay.
Well, right now, zero. However, I assured the residents so too in this process that it too has to go through a formal process. I can reach out to the property owners again. The letter was sent out October 7th. And, you know, they could either call, email, and I let them know that their information responding would be shared with the governing body.
Well, I
So-
do know that several residents of that street are not living there, so maybe they haven't gotten any time.
I understand that. I also, we went to the area, Carolyn used the whole area,
Okay.
not just Willow Street. So, again, hopefully. And I think Locust, I think the same thing, we gave the Locust Street folks the same letter so that we could cover the area.
And then I guess we have to bring up the other
No,
street or
but
just,
Would that be Holly Street?
no, the other one for Colbert.
Yeah.
We'll discuss that now, or?
I mean, I don't want to change the street name from Willow to Developer House.
Right.
I don't care who it is, right? The other one with the names, I had heard it was a conflict that we already had names of the same thing.
Right, yeah, we
So we
do.
have two streets with the same name,
Right.
right?
All right, so that's why they submitted these two.
The Viewpoint,
I mean, I.
Viewpoint Drive?
No, no. And I don't think,
Viewpoint Drive.
Yeah.
It's not-
Who wants to like Viewpoint Drive? Raise your hand. Seriously.
and you're not officially adopting
Highlands,
anything.
really.
What's the other name?
Harborside Way.
Who likes Harborside Way? Okay. Okay. 2 to 3 Viewpoint Drive.
I'll get that, I'll follow up with Fulton
Yeah.
Homes on that.
Yeah.
And we will, again, because the letter went out in response, if we do get no response, it's still with the government.
Understood.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Holly Street. Who's requesting that and what is the purpose? Do we know?
I believe,
There's a letter from an attorney representing,
Yeah.
I'm nobody.
the property management
The audience
company.
has the letter.
What's it?
No one in the audience has the letter.
Okay, so it represent, an attorney who represents Liberty Property Management LLC, who owns the property at Holly Street.
Okay.
And we have an ordinance that actually outlines a process for requesting vacating property. I'm not familiar with the exact location or what they're looking, but there's a map there, I see. Councilman Hard looking at it. Now, what the letter asks for is before we start that formal process, is this something preliminarily that you're willing to consider before we ever spend the time to go through the formal process?
Dale, are you familiar with this, what we're talking about here?
Yeah, I think that's a street right off of Cedar, I believe it is.
Yeah.
It's right of way, yeah, it's an unapproved right of way.
it's the
Tiny little street.
rock that we looked at
Way back when?
way back when, about potentially putting it
For sale?
for sale. And in the meantime,
It's
this
around the
letter,
property lines, right? That was a couple years ago.
about a year ago. So it's that same identified parcel.
That was a weird piece of land.
Shape, yes.
What are the downsides, if any? Anybody have any ideas?
You would just, Mary, what you would have to do is make sure you don't have any utilities in that street,
Right.
too, because everything you have to have easements and.
All that stuff, yeah. Okay. What do you guys want to do? Move forward?
And if we have to check all that, I mean, is there a cost associated with that?
Yeah,
that we
so-
can pass off to?
I would say.
Yes, that's where they're posting an escrow.
There be no question for we did it in the end, right?
It doesn't go anywhere, but there might be something, we have to investigate it.
Yeah, we just want to go forward.
Okay, so I'm good with that, yeah, move it to the next.
I'm studying the map, trying to figure out what.
Looks like it's unanimous to go to at least the next stop.
Resolve to zero cost.
Just make sure, yeah, to read as the card said, make sure whatever the costs are in the end, they have enough to cover. As long as, we don't have to make money, but we can't lose it.
Right.
Number 6 is appointments to the planning board. We actually have 3 empty seats for people resigning. We also, if you didn't catch it, we sent out a letter to somebody on the zoning board, so there will be another empty seat on the zoning board also. So currently sitting on there now is a gentleman who is a alternate, his name is Greg Wells. We're gonna move him up to the main, to a regular member, I'm sorry, and that seat expires 12/31/16. We're gonna put Christian Lee on the other regular member. That seat expires 12/31/15. Rosemary Ryan for the alternate, number 1. That seat expires 12/31/15. And Katie Reed for alternate member number 2, and that seat expires 12/31/16. Okay, you got that there? Let me give it to you, one thing, I just wrote it down, so. Okay. We'll go to public portion, Carol Buckle.
Actually, I did find out something very interesting this evening when I called a friend of mine because I couldn't find her on the order list. And they've taken 4 houses, and I guess if there was a meeting about it, I missed it, from Highlands and moved it to Atlantic Highlands.
Yes, there was many meetings about that.
And you were here.
You weren't
here.
I think you didn't like it, but we did it.
Well,
Not no relation with
take my
electric.
friends out.
Yeah, no, we had probably, literally, I bet you it was 5 meetings, not just on that, but it was many.
The landowners actually have to request it.
Yeah, they did.
They
had-
said
And
No, they all sent in
They all had
letters.
to sign it.
They all sent in letters.
Well, I thought it was
I like it here. Kim Sparker?
Kim Sparker, 360 Short Drive. Just a couple quick questions. I just want to follow up with Dale on that streetscape on Short Drive.
The light is out. We may be doing some work, still on the, we'll call it the north side of Shore towards Washington. They haven't, agreed to that yet, but we're working on that. But that light that was kind of down in no man's land on the south side of Shore, that's gone.
Oh, no, I'm just talking, I think it's all on the north side of Shore.
There was actually a light on the south side too.
Okay.
That's out. But yeah, there is some work that they still want us to do on that north side because it is technically still in the business district. But we're working with them as that's going to be one of the last things that we do.
Okay, I'm just concerned because as I keep saying, the sidewalk is perfect, it's well lit. I can't see, Shore Drive was just repaved, that section not that long ago.
I understand.
I can't see us digging up perfectly good property in Highlands to stick a light pole in a section that might take away from the sidewalk.
It wouldn't take away from the sidewalk, and it would still be the stamped concrete improvements, a white pole, but not interfering with the sidewalk. But keep in mind that the EDA, the way the EDA operates, they operate almost like the community development does. When they give a grant, they have to show that money being expended. So they don't, at the end of the day, they really don't want to cut a project back any more, than necessary, so to speak. And it's what they're determining is necessary. So we're talking to them about it. But again, we'll see how things shake out. It's not finalized yet, but they are working.
Right. Now, on the other side of Water Witch, towards Huddy Park
Yes.
and the municipal lot, how
Yes.
far down does the sidewalk go?
Down to Center, I believe. To Center Street.
Central, okay.
Yeah, Center, I'm sorry,
No,
Center.
that's okay.
Down to Harbor Side.
If there is extra money, would they extend the sidewalk down the municipal lot?
Most likely no, because of it's out of the business district at that point, believe it or not.
Okay.
All right, but, again, that's always something, we can always talk with them further about things as the project moves further along. I will say that they came into the office the other day. It was like Men in Black, 4 guys all in black pants, white dress shirts, ties, the whole 9 yards. And they came into the soft audit of the files, and they audited Mr. Hill's files, and my EDA rep was there, and everything went extremely well compared to other municipalities doing these grants. So that's a feather in the cap for Highlands. So far, everything seems to be going well with all entities, so that's a good thing.
And another question, New Jersey Natural Gas came in and they ripped up part of a slab of the sidewalk and it's now covered in blacktop. Are they gonna come back and fill that in with concrete?
We will talk to them about it. They may give us a credit or something, maybe some kind of contribution. It might be handled under the short term, under the DOT grant, but it'll be addressed one way, shape, or form.
Okay, and in case you're looking for where it is, it's right at the edge of the vacant lot and where the yellow condos start.
Okay.
It's right near the fence that comes out.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah,
it.
right.
And they're notorious because, once, these guys carry the bags of coal patch on their trucks, so, just to make it safe, they'll dump that in and then, hopefully the crew comes in later but, yeah, we'll address that.
Gas line put in, is that what they did for? That quarter unit?
I'm
but
guessing it's part of their gas line replacement, maybe they did a new connection from the main up to the condos.
We're actually replacing that main, they're providing additional capacity for the Pulte Homes project. So that's why they're running that new main down there.
No, but from what where Kim says we're talking about, it comes
Oh.
out, and
On the
the
other
beginning of the condos where she lives, that first one, it looks like it went right up the side to where there's a hookup of gas line. And I don't know if it was a new line put in for them, or more pressure for them that was put in, that's what I think.
I haven't had a problem with pressure, so.
They planned on, with the Sandy recovery funds, that part of that upgrades, if they did find something while they were in the neighborhood, that they would try to replace. So it might be something as simple as say we might as well address it now, knowing that we're doing Shore Drive.
I don't have a problem that they did the work, I just wanna make
Just
sure they're
the
gonna bring it
Yeah,
back
we
to
made
no
what
concrete
it
on
was
top.
originally. And just one quick question on the Holly Street, if we vacate that, does that tiny piece of property come on the tax rolls?
Yeah, well,
Yes, because it's no longer ours.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, no problem. Stacy Pritchard?
Yes, Dale actually answered some of the questions that I had in his report, but every once in a while I hear this discussion go back and forth about people speeding around the school, especially,
The school here or high school or both?
No, the school here.
Private school?
Especially, with people kind of getting down to the ferry, and I take my husband back and forth to the ferry quite regularly, and yes, some people are good drivers and some are not. And I do understand that the police have done some blitzes before, and amazingly enough, have caught a lot of locals, and I have seen them sometimes stopping people on the way to the ferry, and I'm sure it ruined their day that they were getting a ticket instead of getting on the ferry. But I go down the road through Middletown a lot, and there are big flashing signs letting you know as you pass by two different schools that you're in a school zone. And I don't even see a speed limit sign on those two roads. So what would be the process to get some signage and those flashing lights when school's in session? Because I know it catches people's attention going through Middletown to get people to realize that there is a school there.
It's a great point, and we've had many conversations with the police over the years and didn't take it to that level, but I think you're right, we should. And my son lives here, so my wife drives it, it doesn't mean.
I mean, is it our road? Is it a county road? I mean, what is it?
Linden and County, but what I see a lot of them coming down the side road and then flipping down on the shore. I mean, I leave at about 5:45, and it's a free-for-all coming down the side of the projects.
Well, you can't get across the streets when they're coming out.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I usually try to go in behind the VFW, because if you go to the corner, you're not getting across them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like it would be common sense to just put some signs and the flashing lights there to let them know. Because nobody wants a ticket in a school zone.
And we just wanted to stop, we didn't want to pay one ticket, just stop,
Right.
right? Mr. Redmond,
Take a look at it, I'll look at it.
so
Thank you.
we'll come back with something, it's a good idea, it's a good point, Leonardville Road, you see it on them, it's a great. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. Barbara, Iannucci?
28 Shrewsbury Avenue. Dale, based on all your report, when can people expect the sidewalks to be walkable again and completed? Based on all these drivers, or players coming in?
Well, basically, the stuff they ripped up already on Bay Avenue, that work is going to start Wednesday.
Okay.
That'll take a couple weeks, most likely.
Okay.
And then, like I said, as they get closer down towards say the Warwich end of town, if the weather's still favorable, where we could rip out maybe that block between Shore and Bay on Warwich and take care of that, maybe they'll do that. But they don't want to keep ripping, and then we get the early snow or we get something else that goes on where the sidewalks are a problem all winter long.
Okay.
So right now, that first crew is going to kind of go into, not hibernation, but they're going to kind of slow down a little bit. Let the stamped concrete crew, so to speak, get caught up to them, and then we'll see where we are weather-wise.
So what do you think, spring?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a couple weeks to get through what was ripped up already.
I understand.
And then as we go, I mean, if we get another 3 or 4...
Completed, done, and...
completed done would be spring, but if I could get another 3 or 4
I
weeks out of it, we'll play it by ear. We'll do what we can before the weather doesn't allow us anymore, and then we'll go forward from there.
But today, it could be a long time to keep going.
Does that impact the grant?
No, we've got an extension on it.
Yeah, you have to still come in. Okay.
And then I did have a question with the ordinance regarding code enforcer. I do believe we have an ordinance on our books saying it will only be a part-time position, did you have to amend or take, or rewrite that ordinance in order to hire a full-time?
Or does the new one take precedence?
I mean, do you have to do any process?
We're looking at that, the first part of the process is dealing with civil service, and we got that approved through civil service. So that was the major hurdle. Doing the ordinance really is just kind of
And it's a promotion.
ministerial cleanup work, and it's a promotion from him from part-time to full-time.
So it's a rebuilding that happened.
No, I understand your question. We wanted to focus on the heavy lifting, getting civil service to do it first, to do the ordinance.
Civil service for the full-time code enforcement?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and then will follow suit and change our ordinance on the books?
Mhm.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else, Barb? That's it? Mary Saltzman?
Hi.
Oh, sorry.
43 Snug Harbor.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question about, at the last meeting, someone whose name I don't know asked that the June meeting minutes be amended to reflect the fact that Mr. Hill didn't actually speak or discuss the Tilt-Up project. And I was wondering whether or not that happened.
I wasn't here, so I have to defer to,
I'm looking at you, but I.
No, it's okay. I
That
appreciate
question.
Bruce,
No, the minutes were not amended.
okay, can we just ask him, what, is it real, did that happen, did it not happen?
No, that did happen. If you wish to amend the minutes, that's up to the council. If they want to amend the minutes, I think the issue was that the Tilt-Up project was mentioned in Tim's written report, but was not verbally mentioned when he
Right,
spoke to his report.
okay. Did you guys discuss this last week?
It was not discussed.
No,
It came up, but
Okay.
whether to do it or not was not
Does
discussed.
anybody have any thoughts, ideas?
I have no problem amending it.
Okay, what would you?
I have no problem
Okay.
amending it, showing what.
If we, what do we have to do, Bruce? Just make a.
Someone needs to make a motion to amend the minutes to provide specifically what they should say, and someone has to second it and then vote on it.
And I think Karen
Ms.
seconded.
Ryan seconded.
Who's offered by?
Mr. Carr, second by Mr. Ryan.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Rickman?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Wells?
Yes.
Mayor Noel?
I'm going to abstain, so it's a the process, but I would do it if I was.
Thank you.
No problem. Anything else?
Yes, I do. I'm waiting for my overall results to come back on the 27th, and I was just wondering whether, I appreciate the idea that both Tim and Tara have sort of apologized for errors in communication, but I'm wondering whether prior to those results coming back, there's anything that you all would like to share about what went wrong in the process. I don't know where any of this is going to go or, what's going to happen. I only know that for me personally, I can't look at the cement wall. And so, that's all. I don't know.
Okay, anybody have any?
I'll comment that, as I said, I've also requested information. I'm deeply disappointed that information has not come to me as of yet. But again, I'm gonna wait my opinion on when I investigate that information. But the process, I believe, preliminary, there's processes that were probably overlooked that we failed to take care of. But when I get that information,
Can I make a
I give a
suggestion?
report.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off. Can we make a suggestion? I mean, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but this is kind of what we do. Why don't we get a survey of Stuyvesant and put it up there? Stuyvesant is a land we own on the highway.
Oh, I'm sorry, everybody.
It's gonna be dollars and cents, but we gotta find out we can do it first. Stuyvesant has pipes under it, so I don't know if we
I
can.
don't think we could.
And it costs you $500 to find out, $300.
I think, when we were doing this, it's a great suggestion, the Steinman's project, when we were doing the, Peter, if you could, if I may, Peter, when we were doing the survey, we did that, the easement's too big,
Why not Tim also?
the paved road, or whatever.
Just a question. More Stuyvesant's on the highway?
Yeah, the easement for the pipe that's under there wouldn't.
Yeah,
Well, okay.
yeah, it's very wide, yeah.
Can we make
It's
a,
pretty wide and pretty expensive.
Yeah.
does anybody want to talk about an alternate site?
No, I'm reserving my right to investigate once I get all the
No,
information.
that's fine, but in the meantime, if that comes out, let's say for argument's sake, there's nothing, a lightning rod issue there, do we talk about an alternate site, do we leave it as is? I mean, if I talk to 100 people, 50 hate it, 50 are okay with it. I maybe 10 say they like it. 40 states grown on them, the other 50.
No, but I mean, this is so difficult for me. I mean, these, the idea that somebody should have to prove whether or not their view has been compromised.
No, I'm not saying that. I think we should explore an alternate site right now.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking. I mean, we can do the process
I
and
mean,
everybody's
that's
part of the
that's-
process. I would help you, but that was, again, I'm trying to bite my tongue because I'm with information, but that was part of the process that was discussed in January,
Okay.
at the meeting, that it was gonna, exploratory, and that it was gonna be fed back to us, the community, and our council members, on what sites were picked and what kind of project it was gonna be. That never happened.
I'm not saying they did or didn't. What I'm saying
So
is
you're offering posts.
placing a blame, let's fix the problem. It's all now, it's there.
The town wants it removed, the
Right.
majority of the people want it removed.
Nobody wants to explore an alternate site.
Well, we run into legal problems because if you did, you can't remove it.
Would Tiltup move it somewhere
Well, that's
else?
what I'm saying. If we go to them and say, listen, we have this site, we've done a survey, it costs you $300 to do that, and this is a site we think could happen, most of our people don't like it, would you be, willing to move it there? The worst case, they're gonna say no.
If you might have done that, you might save yourself $300, $500.
They might have done a survey already, I agree.
Already done that. And
All I'm saying is let's explore that. We can still do all our investigations and due diligence and open requests and all that, but I'm a big, let's fix the problem. And the problem is that it's somewhere where a lot of people aren't happy, bottom line.
So, this seems so, you seem so easy about it all, and I really do appreciate that.
I don't mean easy like it's nothing if something inappropriate happened.
No,
I mean easy like we could wait 3 months and find out nothing happened and it's still there for 3 months.
But what I'm saying is your attitude is much more approachable than what was here the last time we talked about it. And I think that, if you go on that Facebook page, I mean, it's.
Oh, I understand.
It's insane.
I was getting calls from the hospital, I get it.
I think that what's going on is that people just want an answer. It
Understood.
seems so implausible that it all happened. And one of the things is, somebody posted on there, well, the residents of Snug Harbor must have been sleeping. And I thought, oh my gosh, people, am I guilty of that? I would, and I thought, I wasn't guilty of that. I woke up one morning and it was there. So I just.
That's where we made our mistakes.
So
I'm gonna open dialogue with Mayor Town with them and ask them if they're willing to move it if we found a site.
I want to understand what happened, because I feel like people would be willing to help you guys, but nobody is giving us any information to work with. Thank you.
Information.
It's for,
Okay.
it
So
is
that would be my idea.
Thank you.
Carolyn, Brianna?
Carolyn Brouillon, 12 Miller Street. I saw that you had, you were discussing the municipal facility in executive session. And is there any status update that you can give the residents at all?
Can we share anything right now? I know it's an ongoing thing. Or
defer to
Mr.
Attorney first.
You could give a brief update.
I don't want to mention anything though, like we talked about, and unjustly hurt somebody financially if it doesn't go through. For lack of a better.
Right, like we talked about.
If you want, Mayor.
Yeah, just give it without talking about sites. And
We have done an internal site survey, so to speak, of different areas in town. Some of the concerns, depending upon which way FEMA funding could be allocated to the community, it could be significant if a site were removed from the floodplain. There's a caveat to that too. They use a term, what they call almost like a forced relocation. In our scenario, that's not a threatening term. It elevates actually potential funding to get out of the 500-year floodplain if possible. So that's the crux of what we're working with. The council is supportive of getting all the information into FEMA, and that number has been going back and forth, and it's in FEMA's domain to come up with that recommendation. But ultimately, as FEMA's reminded us often, if they weren't here, if the storm hadn't happened and you wanted to relocate your borough hall, what would you do? And they're not taking, they're not being spiteful on that, but, it's still going to be at the table of what the ultimate decision is. So we're moving forward, as quickly as we can. It's been painful. I've been visiting that site often with another set of eyes, another set of consultants, FEMA folks that come back into town to look at the facility. So we can keep pushing this forward.
Okay. Second question is just a request, actually, and that is, could we have the engineering report and the administration report, as well as the full payment of bills attached to the packets that we get, instead of waiting for minutes to be approved that are months, sometimes it happens months later. So Dale speaks very fast, so I can only scribble as much as I can scribble down. About what's going on, and even when Tim goes through his phone.
I've had a habit of that,
I have, it's just a matter of getting, I mean, sometimes,
One thing I just want to call you, I'm not trying, I understand your comment because this has come up before. A lot of times when when I do the administrative report, I generally do the first meeting of the month. The departments that report to me are doing closeout reports to get me the information that I need. So there's a couple things that can happen. I can certainly prepare in advance, but I won't have probably some of the information that I'm putting in the reports based on the timeliness, because you're talking a week in advance that I have to get it ready to go into the packets. So I have a skeleton of what what we're going over, but the numbers aren't provided to me till the end of the month when they actually do their closeouts of reports internally. So I have no objection to attempting, but just want to caution you that there may be a lot of sort of blanks, and I'll try to fill them in at the meeting if I can.
Well, it's easy to fill in a couple of blanks.
well, would it be better if it's not in the packet that goes out, having extra copies here?
Exactly.
Rather than waiting for months.
Absolutely.
All right.
Very helpful. That way you're not up to Carolyn's deadline of whatever that is.
Right.
the week
Right.
before.
Yeah, we need at least a week, because then, again, get it in, get it on.
Just make more copies.
Okay, that's you do.
Thank you,
How about
appreciate it.
yourself?
Yeah, absolutely,
Glad to
that's
see
fine.
that.
I've historically spoke fast, I apologize, I'm loud and fast.
It's a
He's
long
always trying to sell.
I'm like a street rod, I'm loud and fast.
He's always selling something.
And what was the third?
Dave Toro, I saw you here. Dave?
Yeah, I'm back here.
Dave, hey, address please?
Dave Pro, 47 South Bay. How you doing, everybody?
How you doing, sir?
You guys all know my plight, my plant, so I just want to know, is it going out to bid? Because I've heard so many different rumors. I just want to hear the right one.
We're talking about the lease on the plant?
I want to know if the plant's going out to bid.
Um,
Going out to public bid.
Bruce, you want to speak to that?
It may,
Like 4 months ago it was. Now I'm hearing it's not.
that decision has not been finalized yet. It's possible that it may, and it may not.
Dave, we talked about it in executive session tonight, but it's not resolved, so we can't put it out there right now to the public.
To answer your question, is it going out to bid? Has just as strong a possibility of going out to bid as not going out to bid. So whoever told you said it's not going out to bid,
Yeah, that's erroneous. No one's made that decision.
no one's made that decision.
We have 2 council people with our professionals that sit on
We
a
gave an
consulting board, right?
Yeah, we gave an extension time in December, and we're doing our due diligence, and they're doing theirs. Whatever, people are giving you information.
Well, I mean, like I think it was 4 or 5 months ago I was here, I was told that you were getting to a consultant and you were going out to bid. And now you're telling me you're not sure if you're going out to bid or not, because maybe the rumors I hear are true. So I would just let you know what I heard, and you can tell me whether I'm wrong or not.
Dave, the consultant was brought in, so we knew an idea. We don't work, none of us up here work in that industry. So we brought a consultant in so they could tell us what a fair price is for rent and what our capacity is and how the business works.
So, getting back to my question, if the they didn't come up with your demands, you're gonna let them have it back.
Put it to like this, just in fairness of business, you can't take that off the table, but that has not been decided at all by anybody.
Well, just don't take this out of confidence. I like everyone gets up there. But the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. These people had this plan for 20 years and done absolutely nothing with it. Nothing for this town, ever. You guys never gave me any satisfaction for what's going on down there. So if you plan on giving it back to them, I'm gonna be here every week.
Okay.
Every week.
Thank you.
On that.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm president for 3-4 years on that plant.
Name and address, please, sir, I'm sorry.
Man, Watch Road 207, bad in Highlands.
Go ahead.
And in the contract, it states that the town's not to make no money off of this thing. This is only supposed to be a non-profit. Whatever you lose on that or the property, that's all you're supposed to get back.
Okay.
And the Bangans have the first right of refusal.
Okay.
I mean, has anything changed since then?
Well, I will tell you this, again, I'm not gonna talk to ongoing negotiations or litigation, but our attorney is talking to the Bayman's attorney and other parties that are involved, and we're trying to work something out that's best for the town.
I'm not looking to take money away from the town.
Understood.
Like that, they get a few dollars more. The Bayman, at times could give a little better to the town.
We have a big, our biggest concerns, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but in the group we talked about this, was A, making sure everything was met regulation-wise and everything else. When I say it wasn't, just gotta make sure it is our names on the building, our names on the property. B, to make sure that the person who's actually on the water doing it was getting the most percentage of profit from the plant. And C, to make sure that we were A, not taking too much of the product out of the water, or more importantly, B, if we can take more, put more people locally to work with first preference that want to work. We wanted to make sure all those things were worked out. We put 2 council people on the committee. It was Mr. Carter and Mr. Redmond. They've been meeting multiple times with some of our professionals and their professionals, and it's still an ongoing conversation. So nobody decided it's going out to bid. No one decided it's not going out to bid. Nobody came up with a dollar amount that we agreed on. Nobody came up with a dollar amount we didn't agree. It's still in the beginning phases of the conversation.
And I agree with you on what you're saying about the plan. We should have an open goal.
Yeah. Correct. We want them to make the most, even more than the town, obviously, because they're on the water, and why we're not.
We wanted it right or wrong, but, I just want to know that the rules that we set.
I will tell you that there's ongoing, they're meeting again, and the meeting is planned. They've met in the last 10 days, correct, guys?
Yeah.
Friday, I think.
And I will say, we requested any documents related to the clam plant from the Port Authority. We were informed that they were all destroyed in September 11th.
Okay. So, that might be a little curveball, but we're gonna work through it. We're gonna try to do the best for us.
What's that? I couldn't hear you.
You never know if I go and get them.
If you can, that'd be great. To Tim, obviously in town, or somebody in the borough office.
As long as it's headed in the right direction and not the name out there.
That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure everybody's covered.
Shoreline, the whole days, that's what you're looking at.
Correct. We know, we don't want a home run down there. We want to make sure everybody's, accounted for and correct. And then we can't get anything back to bite us regulatory-wise, process-wise, or anything like that. Okay? Thanks for coming out tonight, everybody. November 3rd 's the election. Please go out and vote. Good luck to all the candidates, and one that it's not your turn. All.